It's like deja vu all over again as a Texas court rules that a critical part of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, is unconstitutional. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up to the BS of the MAGA crowd. So a majority of Americans continue to support the Affordable Care Act, and everybody supports the requirement that businesses provide free preventive care to their employees. And yet that isn't stopping Texas plaintiffs and the same judge who ruled before that the Affordable Care Act was unconstitutional to rule that the preventive care portions of the ACA are unconstitutional. Yes, again, it's Judge Reed O'Connor from the Northern District of Texas who has ruled that the requirement to provide certain preventive care screenings is unconstitutional. Those include some outrageous things like colonoscopies and screening people for HIV. O'Connor, of course, is a Republican appointee, nominated by George W. Bush in 2007. He's the judge who ruled in 2018 that the ACA was unconstitutional as a whole and needed to be struck down as a whole because Congress had eliminated the penalty, the tax penalty, if you didn't get health insurance. That case went to the U.S. Supreme Court, which overruled Judge O'Connor and held that he'd overstepped his authority and that the entire argument was out of left field, which I think I said at the time, by the way. Well, this guy must be obsessed with the Affordable Care Act, because once again, he's issued another ruling out of left field. The issue is this, that many of the preventative care screenings are recommended by a panel of volunteer experts. According to Judge O'Connor, the fact that this panel is a group of independent volunteer experts means that they don't have the authority to issue requirements on businesses. It doesn't matter, by the way, that the recommendations of this commission are just that, recommendations, which then the Agency of Health and Human Services essentially turns around and requires businesses to follow. Again, these are just for preventive health screenings, life-saving things like colonoscopies and HIV screening, which nobody is opposed to, except for a few far right-wing libertarian types. Apparently, the plaintiffs were a group of businesses who argue that it violates their religious liberty. You know, that religion that says that we shouldn't care about other people? That's the religion we're talking about here. At any rate, O'Connor, who just can't read the room after the U.S. Supreme Court slapped him down, has set himself up for another appeal, as legal observers once again feel, generally speaking, that his ruling is completely without legal basis. So what's the deal with this guy, and what's the deal with these plaintiffs? I mean, how can you be against preventive screening being required for people? Businesses are in favor of it. The people who benefit from it are in favor of it. It saves money for the businesses and for government. This is like a win-win-win situation. Well, apparently it just comes down to this ideological belief that these right-wing conservatives have that, oh my God, we can't provide anything for anybody. As Paul Krugman put it so succinctly, the cruelty is the point. And this is just one more opportunity for that MAGA crowd to own the libs. It doesn't matter if people get sick and die as a result of it. I can tell you that if this were a Democratic judge issuing these kind of outrageous opinions, the Republicans in Congress would be calling for him to be impeached. But instead, they just kind of sit there and enjoy watching the government having to run around and incur the needless cost and difficulty of having to go through these appeals. I don't know how to get the message through to these partisan judges that a judge is not supposed to be a political player. You're not supposed to be making policy from the bench, especially when you have a law that was passed by Congress and has repeatedly been upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court, including with the reversal of one of this judge's opinions. Conservatives used to believe that courts should stay out of legislating, but those days have passed. God forbid we actually let the democratic process do what it's supposed to. Instead, we'll let these partisan hacks in black robes decide how we're going to run our country. Well, if you want to see just what partisan hacks the U.S. Supreme Court has become, check out this video over here that I did a little while ago. I'll see you then. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.